Hey YouTube, just wanted to do a couple videos today. Specifically today I want to talk a little bit about getting your home and garden in order. I read an article this morning that talked a little bit about kind of where things are going financially in the world and how this is going to be a little different this time than the 2008 crisis financially, mostly because there's just no more debt to put into the world, and so we're probably heading for a pretty difficult time financially. And so there's a few things that you can start doing right now in order to get ready for what might be coming down the road. And one of those things is getting the fertility of your garden up. Right now, there's endless amounts of manure out there that you can pretty much get for free if you've got the time and the resources to get your garden in order. And I think that getting good at gardening is probably one of the most important things that you can sort out in the coming years, because there's really no downside risk. Number one, it helps keep you sane. Like, we love being out in the garden. Number two, there really isn't a lot of nutrient dense food available out there on the market, and so it keeps you healthy. And I think that's really important as well. Like, if you're in Alberta right now, you know that there's a lot happening in the medical system in terms of kind of what we're going to have access to and what we're not going to have access to. And so one of the most important things that you can do is to take responsibility for your health, which really comes down to eating well and getting exercise and all that stuff. And so all of those things kind of happen in the garden. So we've got our garden set up this year. We've got 2 terraces that we're going to be gardening. And I found a neighbor that has additional manure available. So he's going to bring in a bunch of manure for us. And this is also really important because of other things we've talked about on the channel. Peak phosphorus is like 10 years away. And so making sure that you've got nutrient in your soil is probably one of the best investments that you can make now. And so any kind of fertility that you put into your system is going to pay dividends. One of the things we did for our greenhouse here was we brought in 14 yards of manure, which we're going to work into the soil once the greenhouse is built. And so there's obviously a lot of grass seed in there. It's going to take some time to work that out, but that greenhouse has enough fertility in it to last for years. And of course, we're not going to stop at just 14 yards. We're going to have chickens and cows and all sorts of other animal systems. This is the funny thing about the whole vegan movement that's really interesting, is that there's this idea that you can have a veganic garden. And in our climate anyways, which is mostly what I speak about, which is northern Canada, or the middle latitudes of Canada, which is the northern part of the world, the idea of a veganic garden is just ridiculous. You need to have animal impact, you need manure. If you don't have those things, there's no way that you can sustainably keep a garden going. And so for right now, we're going to bring in tons of manure that we're going to spread all over our property, which should give it a nutrient nitrogen bounce, nutrient bounce, to kind of get things kicked off again. Our property has been hayed for years, and so we have to invest back into that nutrient cycle. But as we bring animals into the system, all of that nutrient management will be done via livestock. So a couple other things. If you're getting ready to start growing your own food and start getting your house and garden in order, we've got a PDC coming up here right away, the end of September. It's probably one of our last in-person PDCs indefinitely. I don't know when we'll run one again. Who knows where the world is going and what we'll be able to do and not be able to do based upon pandemics and everything else. And if you're interested in an online experience, that's going to be coming up too in November. So if you're not on our newsletter list, you might want to join that to get notified when we're going to be launching that PDC. So I'll leave a link to our newsletter down below, as well as a link to the in-person permaculture design course. We have some of the best experts in Calgary on how to grow food, how to set up your house for renewable energy, how to insulate it, and how to really thrive no matter what happens. I think that's really what it comes down to, and one of the reasons that you want to get your house and garden in order. We do live in unprecedented times, but the good news is there's positive and optimistic solutions to those things. And one of the reasons that people feel so much fear right now and anxiety about the state of the world is because they don't have their house and garden in order. And so let us help you. Let us help you get your systems in order so that you don't have to deal with that anxiety. And the more people that get onto this, the more people that join the community, the more secure that we all feel, because you know, I lean on a lot of my community. I lean on my students, I lean on my friends, and the more people that I have around me that are doing similar things, the less anxiety that I feel in the current state of affairs. So if you have any questions, reach out to us, info@vergepermaculture.ca. Check the links in the show notes below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.